Scott. This has been a day filled with emotion as families remember those who were killed, and the nation marks a milestone in the healing process. Tomorrow, the rebuilding effort continues at the World Trade Center site, and that is where 9 News anchor Brendan Keefe is live now. Brendan?
Carol, to see the 9/11 families touching those names etched in bronze was very moving. Realize that nearly half of them have no gravesite to visit, so this is their loved one's final resting place. As journalists, we're here to document the event, of course, but there were also poets and artists here to capture the human spirit. The sound of a mournful piano echoes through the 9/11 memorial. It is coming from the top of World Trade Center 7. Marcus Robinson is an artist.
Capturing the transformation over a long period of time of this extraordinary historic place in New York, and honoring the heroic spirit of the men and women who are doing the rebuilding.
His studio high atop the first rebuilt World Trade Center building.
It's one of the most extraordinary spaces anywhere in the world, with a view over the whole of Manhattan.
But his mind is always on the site below his feet, where he has been granted extraordinary access to document the rebirth over the last 5 years.
The site itself is like this gigantic 3-dimensional, ever-changing work of art.
Marcus draws and paints on site right next to the workers, but he is also creating time-lapse films of the rebuilding effort.
Seeing something over a long period of time that the naked eye can never comprehend just by standing somewhere and seeing.
On September 11th, Lower Manhattan didn't just lose a pair of skyscrapers. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives when the Twin Towers collapsed. That's why Marcus isn't just focusing on the structures and the machinery, but on the people rebuilding New York.
It's always blood, sweat and tears of men and women doing the rebuilding. It's totally extraordinary.
Run it, run it, run it!
His films are up close and personal.
I gotta work with this guy all day long. I should be paid triple for having to deal with him.
But the big work takes place up on the 48th floor, where he starts from afar, then approaches the spirit of the workers to preserve their contribution with oil on canvas.
Whatever the pioneering spirit was that built New York City, and in a wider sense was part of the spirit of America, that there's something totally alive and vibrant on this site that is that quintessential spirit. I think there's something very inspiring about working in this format. The site it's a gigantic site. There are 4 or 5 different buildings all being built at the same time.
Up close, it's hard to see the big picture, but with distance, say 10 years or so, the events of 9/11 come into sharper focus now that the hole in the ground is filled with hope.
Celebrating something more timeless and more universal about the human spirit, which is that no matter how badly somebody can be knocked down or damaged, that the natural instinct is to want to start healing and rebuilding. Something amazing has been accomplished, and one major part of the healing process has taken place.
And we're back now live. You're looking, of course, at the Stars and Stripes hanging on Tower 1 as it climbs to 1,776 feet above Lower Manhattan, next to, of course, the waterfalls that represent the footprints of the original Twin Towers. Developer Larry Silverstein donated studio space to Marcus Robinson, and the Port Authority gave him access to the site these last 5 years. He's still down here every day. He says he's going to stay until it's finished, but he needs funding to continue. He wants you to check him out on the web and see if you can help. That's the story here from New York. It's been a very, very emotional day, but there's a sense of healing and an end to what we used to call Ground Zero, and the beginning of the future World Trade Center. Carol?
Brendan Keefe live in New York with a beautiful story about the human spirit. Great job, Brendan.